You read the information, and not everybody can navigate it.
Even I don't like reading washing machine instructions. I want to hear it from somebody.
They don't make it easy. And the instructions, it's a perfect example that it's not, these things are not done in a manner that
Human
all
beings can
people
understand.
Exactly. And
I'm a teacher. There's no need for me if everybody can learn through reading, but there's incredible need for teaching because most of us don't learn just through reading instruction manuals. So let me just throw out an idea for the next, for something to do in the next 4 months. It's not a solution, but one of the things I believe is that when you're running for office, you should try as much as you can to already do the things that you want to do in office. So one thing we could do is a Medicaid panel, just sponsor for information. Just information giving. And just invite people to come and invite the great navigators.
but what do you do in like a Medicaid?
Yeah.
Somebody goes there because they need help today, like she was saying.
Yeah.
You don't
Okay?
get it today.
You don't get it today. You might get it in 4 months.
That's not necessarily true. I'm telling you.
But you're a full-time advocate.
I'm a full-time advocate.
Yeah.
Right, then how many hours have you spent?
I spend hundreds of hours.
Hundreds.
And I had to hire thousands. I had to hire an attorney at first to teach me how to navigate the system. But now that I know how to navigate the system, I have my father who's on Medicaid with full-time.
Yeah,
So,
but
on Medicaid.
that's you. And most
That's
people
why I'm saying.
can't do that. I can advocate for myself. I don't worry about myself. But how many people out there can't?
That's why I'm saying.
For
if you're
one
to
have
educate
dementia,
or
you can't
another,
do it.
She's agreeing with you.
educate and advocate.
Yeah.
She's
agreeing
We
with
need
you.
information. We need to educate women, caregivers, but mainly they are women. We need to actually have a resource available for them to educate them and someone there to help them navigate the system.
And that all takes resources, right? And if you have a government that is saying, we're spending money on tax breaks for Verizon or on,
But when it comes to anything, the issues we were talking about before about health in the rural areas, when it comes to this, it all comes back to education and information. It all comes back to that.
I do want to just interject, Tara. I'm the supervising public health nurse, and I really think that this is so interesting because I do think that there is a tremendous amount of resources being spent on hospital care, and a lot of the money at the last 2 weeks of life, when the person who has fallen and broken their hip and now has a clot and is in the ICU, instead of taking that spending and shifting it in a way that allows a person to stay in their home safely.
Right.
I think the way the resources are being allocated, because we have had a very paternalistic structure in hospitals and healthcare and health policy, that we haven't really seen the needs being met. And there's so much emphasis on medical homes these days, where doctors and nurse practitioners should be like the hub of the person's care, right? But they got to get there. and those people, the professionals see someone in an office, if they see them at all. So there's this real loss of information about what the person's day-to-day living really is. And there used to be so much more money back in the about 20 years ago when I was first a public health nurse. We could call, if we had someone who was, say, COPD and had been admitted 3 times in a 6-month period, there was actually money we could get from Medicaid to have an air conditioner put in his 3rd floor walk-up, because the issue was the overheating in his apartment that kept sending him back to the hospital. And there isn't this sense of what is it that people